Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria, the Soul Nurturer, live. And again, I'm doing these kind of spontaneous for now, just to keep in the rhythm of my own practice of being comfortable, being live. And my goal is that at some point I'll have a regular date where people can gather with me. I really want to share with you that, and I think I do touch on it a little bit in some of my other videos. I've been going through my own huge, did I say huge? Transformational cycle for forever. It feels like, well, definitely, I would say at least 7 years. And I feel like light emerging at the end of this dark night of the soul. But I'm still in my own process. And I am grateful and actually proud that I've kept my commitment or the call, the soul call to start a soul channel, even though all the critical voice was very loud and as they can be, right? Anybody have a super loud critical voice who talks you out of those soul calls? And mine was and continues to be, doesn't go away. I just keep showing up and saying, okay, I'm here and I feel called. And but when you're in a transformational cycle, and any of you out there, I think pretty much all of us are, we are in a collective sort of dark night of the soul, or a collective, there's another term, but I'll just say identity crisis. We're coming out of unconscious conditioned ways of being individually and collectively. So I would say we're all in a transformational cycle. And when we're in the transformational cycle, we have to dance with mystery. We have to dance with the unknown, while being present to what is and working with what is, allowing what is to teach us what we need to shift, what we need to heal, what we need to transform in order to emerge our soul potential, to emerge our collective potential. Certainly, we have a lot of work to do, don't we? And so, this channel, the Soul Nurture channel, is dedicated to being a place where those of you who are called to this work, and if you found my channel and you resonate with any of my videos, and I do invite you to kind of peruse the videos, even go back to the early days of 2020 when I first came on and witnessed my own personal growth. I'm still growing, we all are. But even when I go back to listen to my old, and I don't do this often, but sometimes I'll go back in and what was I saying in 2020? And my inner critic is quieter. I can see my soul trying to offer something. And I can catch little gems of what I call soul wisdom when we get still, when we get present. So the idea of this channel was to be a sacred space. And this was pre-pandemic. I was just already in a space in 2019, even before, like I said, 17 years ago, really feeling I needed to pull within and I needed to go in and look at my own unconscious agreements and patterns and beliefs and shadow and all of that. And I continue to do this work. It's never ending. It gets deeper and richer. And, good news is you see more. Bad news is you see more, but you also heal more. And that's what it takes to heal and transform, is to be willing to look, willing to be present. And I think that's what we're all called to. And it's been really tricky. I think the pandemic, I do go back. And what I got right away in my meditation was, this is a gift of a reset if we lean into it. And many of us, and myself included, I'm not perfect over here for sure. I'm a human having dancing with my soul wisdom, a soul having a human experience, and there's a tug of war. Sometimes the human experience wins, right? But I certainly did my share of binging on Netflix and eating more and drinking more, and knowing underneath it was a lot of us just needed a break, I think, but underneath it, knowing this is a call for greater healing individually and collectively. So that is why I started the channel. And if you are not familiar with my work, you can go to my website, www.victoriajazwick.com. I have an old website that's still out there too with similar material, and that was my first business name was called Sacred Soul Visioning. And because my work is all about the sacred and it's all about connecting to soul. And my work is about helping all of us, myself included, reconnect to the beautiful soul essence that we came into this world with, to harvest our gifts from the wounded places of our journey in life, and to emerge the possibilities and potential. I keep looking to see if anyone's joining. This is the tricky thing about live. Sometimes people pop on and sometimes they don't, and it's all good. So I offer, many different tools for my clients to hold that sacred space, to illuminate the path before them, to help them see a vision of something greater yet to be, and also to reclaim all the gifts and potential within. A lot of times people come to someone like me. I'm a transformational hypnotherapist, a spiritual director, many modalities of training. I do dream work. I utilize the tool of astrology to help see our soul essence, to reclaim that purpose, and to, what I feel, witness the soul map, the soul print, the soul blueprint, if you will, that Creator gave us. And it's amazing to see the beauty of creation and synchronicity, and the absolute, for me, when I look at a chart, and when I look at charts of families, like a lot of times I'll have a mom come and then we'll look at the children's charts, or for my own family, looking at my parents. I didn't really know my parents. My dad left when I was born, came back when I was 9, and died, I think, like 6 months later. Didn't really know him, but I got to know him through the chart. And I got to know my mom, who was also an absent parent. God bless her. She did the best she could, being a single mom with 4 kids. At a time when that wasn't a normal thing, being a single mom. I got to know her through looking at her charts. I got to know my sisters when that's actually part of the reason I got into astrology. Was like, I couldn't figure out. I used to always think, and I think sensitive souls born into families often think, am I in the right family? Who are these people? Why are we so different? In fact, I used to ask my mom when I was little if I was adopted. Even though I looked like my family, I didn't feel like my family. Anybody feel me on that? And by the way, do subscribe if you haven't yet. Like if you feel called to, and I hope you are. And comment. Commenting is so important for a number of reasons. One, it helps drive the algorithm on YouTube, letting my face and my voice and my words be in front of more people, not from a place of ego, but from a place of service and supporting. And sometimes I say, people say, what do you do? I say, well, I'm all about inspiration, and I lift and support. And then I laugh because it sounds like I'm describing a bra. Yeah, I lift and support. I'm a bra. I'm a soul guide bra. Anyway, going off on my tangents. But I see I lost my train of thought just there, but it's okay. I'm feeling really called to be here tonight, even though I will tell you I did not want to. And I know where I was. Subscribe to and like and comment. Comment where you're viewing from, and if anything I say rings true for you or inspires you to share something about your journey unfolding, or where you are, what you're experiencing. Anything is welcomed here. My higher vision at some point is, as I said, to have lives where more people are gathered. As I am in my own transformational journey, as I've talked about at the beginning, I have not felt fully pulled back or prepared or have the capacity to hold space in the way I used to. I used to run women's circles and workshops live in person, and I just don't feel called there. And I've done some Zoom, and I don't feel called to do it on a regular basis. I have a women's group that I run, or that I started running, and we're going to meet regularly. It's kind of a soul guidance, sharing the tools that I have with a group of women who are committed to working together. And then I also hold space for a dream group. And what else? And then I'm in my own training and programs. I'm continuing my training at Hayden Institute, where I got my spiritual direction credential, and now I'm in the Dream Work program. I highly recommend any of their programs. And I'm also for myself, and I'm going to get to my topic in just a moment. I just keep thinking someone's going to come, but I guess not. It's just me and myself. And by the way, we're never by ourselves. We can always say, I'm with myself. So I'm with myself. I'm speaking to whomever watches this in the replay, but I'm also speaking. My soul is speaking to me. Okay. And that's why I do show up, because I'm showing up for myself. And in doing so, I know I'm showing up for others. Okay. So I'm also in a group, but from one of the teachers of Hayden, who has this offshoot. She does a year-long women's circle. And I'll tell you what, when she first offered it to me maybe 2 years ago, I probably needed it, but I didn't have the capacity to even show up for myself for that. A year felt like another big commitment on top of the other commitments I already had. And I thought, wow, back in the day, I would like to run something like that, but I just don't have it. And I have to honor that. And I really want to share that with you. Don't push against the river. Meet yourself where you are with compassion, with acceptance, and know it's not forever. It's just where you are. And while you're here, keep visioning. Like I was saying, the transformational cycle is a dance with a mystery. But in the mystery, we can connect to our soul wisdom through imagery, dream work, just closing our eyes and asking, what does my soul want me to know? I'm going to do a meditation in just a moment. Maybe I'll bring that question. I often do with my clients. So we're in the mystery, in the darkness, in that time of creation, the womb time. Remember, we're in a rebirthing cycle, womb time. We're in the womb of rebirthing ourselves and the collective. So great compassion and acceptance is needed. Okay, my soul friends. And I do want to thank all of you who do follow, don't like that word, who do watch with me, who view my videos. And by the way, I have a special treat happening on Saturday. It won't be live, but I will post either the audio or the video from our Zoom meeting that I extended an invitation to my astrology mentor, Stephanie Austin, to join me on the Soul Nurture channel for some conversation about, questions about astrology. And she's going to be coming on once a month. This Saturday will be the first. It'll be the intro. So I'm just going to be asking her questions about her journey with astrology and what she'd like us to know. And it'll be just kind of intro. And then we'll be taking questions. And I'm going to invite people to anytime you can offer questions, even here, astrology questions. And I've been calling her an astrology encyclopedia. I haven't told her that yet. I wonder how she'll feel about that, but that's how I feel about her. So that's coming up on the new moon on Saturday, January 21st. So look for that video. And this morning, and I would love your feedback on this. What do you feel about this? I'm going to do it either way, but I wonder if there's an interest out there. But I'm going to do it either way because I'm called to it. This morning I woke up with a still like, okay, where am I? What do I need? What do I want to offer? Do I feel the wave of motivation yet? I'm hoping will come to have me offering more things. No. In fact, I'm pulling back even more. I'm having this crazy thing with Facebook right now. I wonder if anybody else is, but my professional page, The Soul Nurturer on Facebook, got, I guess, hacked. And whoever hacked me got into that account has been running ads through the Soul Nurturer channel. And I think they're kind of pornographic. I don't even know how this happened. Like, how did Facebook let this happen? And then they sent me the bill, which I just got a notification for is past due. And because the content of what was running, from what I'm gathering, it's so hard to navigate through Facebook. It's a huge maze. Anyway, what I'm gathering is the nature of the ads that people were trying to run through my channel were out of, I don't know, there was a term they used. Anyway, I got blocked and kicked out of my own page where I interact with my clients. And so I'm taking it as a sign that I'm not supposed to be on Facebook anymore. And I'm not feeling called to be on Instagram as much anymore either. So I'm really feeling like taking, pulling that energy back, which hasn't been much, but enough to have that, oh, should I post? Should I post? Should I post? Anybody feel me on this? Any practitioners out there trying to connect with others in these platforms? They're not working for me for many reasons. And so I'm going to pull back from there and continue with the YouTube channel because that's where I feel most called. So this morning, in that question, what do I need? And I invite all of you to always sit with, what do you need? What do you need in this moment? What do you need connected to generating, cultivating a new soul vision? And what I thought was, I'm really curious, and this is part of the why I'm doing the lives. I'm curious how people are doing out there. How have you been doing? Hello, we've been through some intense transformational times. Take a sip of water. Hold on. What did I need? I needed a sip of water. See how I was overriding it? I've been thirsty for about 10 minutes. Okay, which is my topic, and I'm going to get to in a moment. So, this morning it was like this. Yes, I'm curious how have people been doing, and I thought, and I want to have those conversations with people that I admire and have inspired me, or other practitioners who've been navigating these transformational waters for all of us. And I want to know how they've been nurturing their souls and what they've learned and how they have navigated these transformational times and what advice they might have. And the big question I want to ask all of them, and I ask all of you, because we need to hold this sacred in our hearts. What is our greatest prayer, wish, hope for our collective unfolding? Because it's time to heal. It's time to take the division and bring it in for some sacred awareness and some sacred healing. The cliche comes, of course, we're all in this together. We've forgotten that, and I think there is a quote like that. We have forgotten that we belong to each other. So that's my plan that came this morning. I'm going to be reaching out to some of my friends who are practitioners, and I might even interview my husband, who is a hey, I owe you a call. Hello, Tana. Wonderful that you're with me. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. But I may even invite my husband on to be a guest. He is a coach as well. He's a primal arts instructor, a nature-based instructor. He has you might be interested in this. Go to his website. It's called tribaledge.life. I should know this. I think it's .life. He's amazing. And so he's, we are both trying to do our part of supporting others and bringing our gifts and contributing to this, possibility of a higher evolving together, individually and together. So that's that's the intention. I'm going to be having first Stephanie. She's going to be a regular talking about astrology. And then I have a few people that I have in mind that I want to invite on to, so you can glean more from other practitioners and learn more. And yeah, so I feel like what's happening is it's more of a community here. Our community in the pandemic, the women's circles, the things I used to run, they all went away. And like I said at the beginning, I don't feel the timing is right for me to try to put all that back together again. And that is what transformation is, friends. It is, I'm hearing that Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. And what happens? He crashes and shatters, right? And that's part of the transformational cycle. Life as we knew it just shatters. It dissolves. With all we've been going through with Pluto and Capricorn, it's like a wrecking ball. And sometimes, and then we have to pick up the pieces and put them back together for the new vision, for the new possibilities. And maybe somebody relates to that there with me. Okay, so I'm going to take us into, actually, I'm going to go to my notes, and you may see the light gets a little brighter. My screen is, brings more light in my room. Lighting is my bugaboo, as I've shared. My friend Erica said, stop talking about the lighting. It's not that bad. Well, I notice it. And it's one of those things I do want to get better at. And I think this will bring it down. There we go. Okay. So I was talking about, we're waking up. This is a time of us waking up out of our conditioned ways of being. And it's also a time you may be noticing having more awareness. Like the thing I keep saying, it's like we've walked into the dark rooms that we haven't looked at, and that we've turned the lights on, and we're like, oh, wow. There's a lot in here, a lot to deal with. I think that's what's happening in our government. Wow, there's a lot that maybe we were aware of or we weren't paying attention to, but we can't help but see now, can't help but unsee now. And so that's what this transformational cycle is like. And I'm trying to get back to see if there's anybody else. Okay, so Tana, I'm going to take us into a meditation. If you have any questions, though, feel free to ask them, and I'll come back to you, okay? Thanks for being here. Okay, so this waking up, it's hard to stay awake and aware and sober. And I was saying, in the pandemic, a lot of us, we ate more, we binged, we drank more, and what we're being called to is to awaken more, to open more, to be willing to look at what we don't want to look at, so we can connect with our soul wisdom and navigate through it and carve out a new pathway forward and toward all that is still possible. Okay. So you may have noticed, that battle of, I saw it, I can't unsee it, but I don't want to see it, and I want to numb out. I don't want to deal with it. I want to be the ostrich with my head in the sand. It's not the time, folks. The time is to really raise our heads up and face what we're called to look at, to question our beliefs, to notice the patterns that we've been stuck in that aren't going to support you or any of us in going forward. And so one pattern I really wanted to bring to awareness, and I have my own take on this. I studied years ago Melody Beatty, I think it's Beatty, who wrote a lot of books about codependency, Codependent No More, and lots of wonderful materials. I think she might have been the first person to bring that term to popular consciousness. And I have a little bit of a different take on it. But I want to bring to mind, or bring to awareness, the pattern of putting others' needs before our own, especially as women. It's so, so deep, isn't it? It's so deep. I mean, I see younger women waking up out of it, but I still see us in these unconditional and unconditioned patterns that we agreed to without having a voice or choice. So this pattern of putting other people's needs before our own, of course, we always think, oh, it's selfish if I put my needs before anyone else's. No, it's not selfish. It's self-care. So we need to get that right. So, and also sacrificing ourselves instead of operating out of serving. And I often make this distinction. When we're giving from our wounds, we are sacrificing. When we're giving from our gifting and our healing, we're of service to others and ourselves. Okay. So being a codependent, my take on this patterning that is deeply rooted in the unconscious mind begins when we're kids. Of course, everything does. And it goes like this. This is my sort of philosophy I've put together. Let's see. So when we are children, we are dependent on the external world. Of course we are. We're helpless babies and children, and we need our caregivers, our parents, our mother, our father, whomever is present, to come to us when we're crying, to give us food, to give us shelter, and to help us in the stages of our development to unfold our potential and gearing us towards purpose. So we are dependent on the external for our needs. And this is where our wires get crossed and we fall into codependency. When our caregivers, our mother, our father, or whoever is taking care of us, doesn't have the capacity or ability or awareness to meet our needs. And I always say we don't blame our parents. We just have awareness that what we needed wasn't there. It's like that old saying in recovery, we don't go to the hardware store for milk. It's not there, but we don't have a choice. When we're kids, it's the only store available to get our needs met. And, until we get older and we can go out into the big world and go, wow, gosh, I can get my needs met elsewhere. The challenge is if the needs are not met, say you had a need for safety, the primary need, and it wasn't met. If you had a need for love, unconditional love, and it wasn't met. You had a need for acceptance and it wasn't met. See if I can explain it. It's so deep in my awareness now, it's hard to articulate it. But what happens as we grow older, it seems logical, doesn't it? That, well, okay, I'm going to go just meet my need for acceptance and love and safety, and I'll just do all that. Well, everything we do, we can have that conscious choice and intention and awareness. And we're only operating 5% of the time in that consciousness. The majority of the time we're in our unconscious or subconscious, depending, Jung used unconscious, and through my hypnotherapy training, we use subconscious. And that just means below the consciousness, or unconscious is we're not aware. And that is the majority of where we operate from in our computer brains. 95% of the time we're on autopilot. We're in our subconscious stuff. And if our subconscious stuff, that in the primary amount of it we receive from 0 to 7, we learned our needs were not going to be met organically and directly, that we had to do something to get them met. And this is where codependency comes in, my take. We start to manipulate our external environments in order to get our needs met. We start to take care of other people, hoping that our needs will get met. This is codependency waters I'm talking about now. Anybody relating to this when you watch the replay, or Tana, maybe you relate. And it's all unconscious. So what we tend to do is give everything to the other person, all the things we need, by the way. And then we're kind of waiting to receive back. And that doesn't work out very well, does it? This is codependency, trying to get our needs met on the external in ways where we're trying to work it, manipulate it, instead of becoming grown-ass people, taking responsibilities for our lives and our needs, healing some of that early childhood stuff, recognizing that we matter, that we're worthy, and it's safe to do things differently, and to say, this is what I need, and to assess what we need, and to cultivate the need within ourselves, and to be able to identify, I'm trying to scroll down and my cursor isn't going there, to be able to identify healthy people who've done their own inner work, who can meet our needs, not because we need them to meet our needs, but because we have already cultivated that awareness of what it's like to have those needs met. We've given them, we've taken care of ourselves. the thing we want from others, we've provided. You want acceptance, accept yourself. You want love, love yourself. You want someone to be present to you, be present to yourself. You get what I'm saying? Do you get it? It's as simple and as complex as this. My husband will love that I use the word complex or complexity. It's his favorite. It's one of his favorite. Anyway, so we take on how we become codependents, or I was saying that I wrote my take, but we take on being codependents in order to survive. Survival is trying to get our needs met in the best way we can. But awareness and waking up is like, ooh, wow, that pattern doesn't feel good. That pattern feels out of integrity with my authentic self. That pattern feels diminishing to who I am. That pattern feels disempowering, right? This is codependency. What we strive for, what we're looking for is interdependency. Healthy person here, healthy person there. I would draw if I had a whiteboard, and I'll just kind of try to do it like with my fingers. I think I learned this in psychology undergrad years ago. I don't remember the course or the what, but it stuck with me. And that codependency, if I had a diagram, would just be like two lines dependent on each other, right? Like I lean on you, to meet my needs. But if one person goes away, the other person falls, right? And then this is like unstable. That's codependency. I'll meet your needs, you meet mine. And hopefully you'll meet my needs. We meet each other's needs. And there's this kind of a, yes, right, Tana, people pleasers is very much a codependent territory. People pleasers, being nice and trying to get your needs met by being the good girl, all that stuff. So that's codependence. Healthy relationship begins with two healthy individuals, okay? We've both done our own inner work, or of course we can come together in relationship, start here and start to reclaim our essence, do our own healing work, take our projections off of our partner, take the, resentment of not getting our needs met and the responsibility off of our partner and onto us. And as we do our healing, then we create what's called an interdependent, and I can't do it with my fingers. Let's see. So it looks like an H. So like that, or like a football goal line, but it's more like an H. Two healthy people meeting like this, right? And that middle is called interdependency. Each standing alone, healthy on their own. And the relationship is a bonus. It's support, yes. Interdependence means sometimes I need to lean on my partner, and sometimes they lean on me, but I'm not dependent on that person to fulfill who I am and my purpose. So, or to get my needs met. Okay, so that's really, really key. I wanted to talk about that. And yes, what I'm asking you, inviting you to, is just to turn the light of awareness on, illuminate with curiosity. Where am I not leading with my needs being met and expecting, which expectation I always say is the gateway to disappointment. I'm expecting this from this person or this boss or this situation, or I'm depending on this person. And when they don't come through, we feel disappointment, we feel resentful, and maybe we feel lost. And we have forgotten our own power. We have forgotten our own capacity, and we have forgotten that we are the ones we're waiting for. Okay. And I say all this, and I'm married. I love my husband, not dependent on him. I don't depend on him for, my well-being, my, happiness. That's my work. Maybe I'll do another video on that topic of how I healed out of codependency into having a healthy, thriving relationship. So now I want to take us into a meditation. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do a meditation, and then I'm going to read a poem by Mary Oliver, and then I'll wrap up. Okay? All right. So if you're watching this in the replay, and Tana, if you want to do this live, I invite you to take this time for you. You can pause the video. If you're watching the replay, get yourself situated, get your meditation cushion. You can lie on the ground if you want to. Just don't fall asleep. but take this time for you. It's just going to be a few minutes. I'm trying not to move too much because my chair is very squeaky. But just a few moments to drop in, to connect inward. Shall we? Let's do it. Here we go. So just following, if you can hear the ringing bowl, inviting you through the vibrations to just drop into your own inner world, into your heart, bringing compassionate curiosity inward, noticing how you're doing in this moment, how you're feeling, how your body feels, your companion, your support system. Just noticing the communication from your body. We often don't give enough attention or presence to our bodies. And our body has a lot of wisdom and a lot to communicate. And when we listen, it'll guide us. And then when we don't, we may have experiences of pain or feeling off track or not quite being ourselves because we're not listening to what our soul and our body needs. We're stuck in unconscious patterns. When we get quiet and turn within, we can listen. What does my body want me to know in this moment? And what does my soul want me to know? And just trust whatever comes. There's no wrong or right. Giving permission to turn within, to connect to you and your body. You're the longest companion you have on this journey. And the wisdom of your soul. So in this moment, as you connect inward, this is a beautiful way to get that wisdom. Be willing and invite in an image to spontaneously appear. What does my soul want me to know? And let an image appear, whether it makes sense or not. Maybe it will right away. Maybe it's, yep, I know what that means. Like dream work, the imagery that comes, it comes sort of cloaked. We don't quite get it until we sit with it. But allow an image to form. What does your soul want you to know? And maybe it's connected. What does my soul want me to claim as a need? What do I need? Since we're talking about needs. And allow this time just to be willing, whether or not, again, you have an image or a feeling or you hear something. Some of us are more auditorily wired, or that's how soul speaks. Or maybe you feel something or you smell something. Trust whatever comes and thank it. Thank you. And you might want to journal this image later and write a little bit more about it. And now just putting your hand over your heart and just asking, okay, so I'm willing to know what I need in order to be more my authentic self, to really companion myself to my highest potential, to nurture my soul. What do I need? To be to be independent, to have interdependent relationships, to stand in the power of my own soul and potential. What do I need? And also sitting with that. And as you breathe in, I'd like you now to just listen to the words of this poem I'm about to read and feel it in your being and notice what arises. And I'll open up, or I'll look at the chat box after so I can hear from you how this lands for you, what you're noticing, what you're feeling. This poem, when I feel disconnected from myself and I feel myself falling back in codependent patterns, I come back to this poem. And so this poem is called The Journey by Mary Oliver. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations. Though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough, and a wild night and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Just letting those words meet you where you are. Notice how your body responded to that reading. What did you feel? What emotions arose? Allowing and welcoming it all. Making a commitment to yourself with hand over heart. I will honor my needs. I will take care of the one life that I have responsibility for. And of course, as mothers or parents, you have other lives you're responsible for. But this first life, you to show up in a way that is loving and supportive, present, and all the things you needed when you were a child, to break the chains of codependency and to rise up as a strong, amazing person that you were meant to be. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and come on back. And I see I have some other friends have joined me. Hello, Holly and Linda. Welcome. And before I wrap up, I just want to say, did that poem speak to you, or anything I've said that you heard for however long you've been with me resonate with you? Do you have any questions before I leave? And I'll wait a moment for that. And I do encourage you to, I'll put the poem in the details of this video. And so remember too, if you're following my channel, when it's a live video, you won't be able to see it for, I think, a day or two, but you can go on my channel and click on videos and then click on live, and then you see all the live videos there. They don't pop up like when I upload a video, it's there immediately. So you're welcome, Linda. Any questions? Any takeaways? Oh, thank you, Holly. Everything you say resonates with me. Unfortunately, I got here a little late, so I missed the beginning. Don't worry, Holly. You can watch the replay. I think, like I just said, immediately after this, if you go to my channel and click on videos and then click on live, you'll have access to the entire video. Or as a subscriber, you'll get a notification, I think. So that's how you can view the beginning. So mostly my topic was connecting to self and healing out of the conditioned, unconscious conditioning of codependency. Okay, my friends. Well, thank you so much for being with me. I think it's time to wrap up. Please do comment. Different from chat, ladies, thank you for being with me. But when the video is on, up and running, because this is live, the replay, if you could go back and comment underneath or like the video at that time, that'll help me, again, continue the algorithm growth out there in the YouTube waters. Anyway, bless you. Thank you for being with me. And look for the video on Saturday with my astrology mentor, Stephanie Austin. And we're going to learn more about astrology together. Much love. Take good care of you and continue to nurture your beautiful soul, for your potential and purpose is needed on the planet. All right. Take good care until then. Bye-bye.